M68 here. Here with a hopefully a quick open box review of a recent purchase I made. Obviously, it's the M&P Smith & Wesson M&P Bodyguard in 380. Got this recently from thanks to Bud's Gun Shop. Got it at a pretty decent price, just under 300 bucks. Here's the receipt, and it's actually $289 plus, you know, whatever the fees that Bud does tack on. But anyway, as you can see, you get a cardboard box, and then you get all the other paperwork and the locks and all that stuff. But what you end up getting is it's a nice case here, and inside is your firearm. Excuse me. Here it is. You get 2 magazines with it, 2 6-round magazines. And that's pretty much it. We can do a size comparison of this firearm to get a scale of it. Here I have the M&P 40 Shield that I got, and as you can see, it's quite a difference in size and weight. It's not a very heavy gun. In fact, I do have a scale here. We can check the weight on this thing. Now, the weight of the gun with the magazine included, oops, in grams, we can change that to ounces, 12 ounces. So it's pretty light. Actually, remove the magazine, and by itself, 10.7 ounces. So it's not a very heavy micro gun. Now, the 2 magazines that come with this gun, they're 6-round capacity. However, you have one with a bit of a lip on it at the base plate, and the other has a flat base plate, as you can see. I have sizable hands, good sized hands, so from what I can tell, my preference is one with the lip. You get a much better grip. But nevertheless, prior to getting this gun, I did purchase some grip extensions from Garrison Grips right here. So I think eventually I'll go ahead and switch these out and put these grip extensions to hopefully make it a lot easier to hold this firearm. Now, the width of this gun, I took a caliper and measured it, and from the widest part, it's about 7/8 of an inch in width. So it's really, really thin. It does have a 2 3/4 inch barrel. It does have a manual safety. The safety is kind of hard at the moment to try to engage. Kind of have to really depress it, get it engaged. But disengaging it, it's not that hard. So hopefully with time this will loosen up a little bit. Now there were 2 other guns that were in the market for me that I was considering in 380 in a micro pistol like this, and that was the Taurus TCP and the Ruger LCP-2. I did my research on all 3 guns, and I'm not saying this gun was the best, but eventually it just won me out as far as getting this firearm. I heard a lot of good things about the LCP-2 as far as the trigger. It has probably the lightest trigger of the 3, and this actually does have the heaviest. And it is a hammer fire type pistol, and as you can see here, it does have a considerable trigger pull. From the manufacturer, it measures it, or they determine that it to be a 9.5 pound trigger, and I don't have a gauge to measure it, but I do have the Sky pistol, and that's also a 9.5 pound trigger pull, and they're comparable. Again, you can see the hammer as you play with the trigger. It doesn't bother me to have that, and I think it's fine. But a lot of people don't like heavy triggers, so maybe some people won't consider this pistol for that reason. It is heavy, and you do have to depress it all the way back. Then you get your brake right there, then it resets all the way back. I think one disadvantage about the Ruger LCP2, I believe, is that you don't have second fire capability like this one. If you have a dud the first time on the primer, you can hit it again. I don't think you can do that with a Ruger LCP2. But another thing that I like is the sights. Although I wish they were 3-dot sights, but they're not. But they are black formal sights. They're made of metal and are adjustable. I think the other two pistols are more of a low profile sights built into the frame. So aside from that, the magazine release for this pistol is way down here. It's a bit of a small button, but when you depress it, the magazine pops out pretty decently, I think. I saw one review of this pistol from another guy, and he was having issues with his pistol as far as ejection, and when he would depress this, it would eject partially like this, and he was saying that wasn't good, what have you. But this one, at least for mine, press is pretty good. Breakdown of this pistol. As you can see here, you have this lever here. Now you can see here that the frame of this pistol, it's machined out, and it implies at least that by locking the slide back, all you do is move this lever down within the area where it's machined, and supposedly this thing will pop out, but no, it does not. You have to go ahead and move it just a little bit more this way. There, right about there. Then this thing will pop out. As you can see, the edge of this is about 2 millimeters away from the edge now, and it will go ahead and come out easily. Okay, once you do that, release the slide. Slide comes off. Nothing here. Here's the recoil spring here. The guide rod. It's an open-ended guide rod, I guess, where you don't have a cap like you do at the end, but it's easy to engage. Pull out the barrel. It's your barrel. Put it all back together. Insert your guide rod in. Just put it through here. There. Slide it back in here. Let it slide in place. Make sure you pull your barrel out. Okay. And then to put the slide lock rod back in, as you can see, there's a wire right here, and there's a bit of spring tension to it as well. So what you end up doing is you kind of reinsert it back the way you pulled it out. But the important thing is you got to make sure this goes in straight. You can't go in at an angle. It has to go in pretty straight. Hopefully I can get it in. Straight in there. There. Once you get it in there properly, you kind of have to jimmy it a little bit. Pull it out again. I know I saw a review, Hickok did a review of this pistol, Hickok 45, and he struggled to insert this in as well. But once you get it in set properly, you should hear a clicking sound. There we go. Alright. So as you can see, it's set in properly. Then you can just turn this, and then as you can see, it's much more closer to the frame of the pistol. And then you just turn it back. There it is. So, it is a small pistol, obviously. It's a 380. I mean, I've always had a interest in these little small pocket pistols and what have you. I used to have a Taurus PT22. That was a nice pistol, but I don't know. I just wasn't too convinced about having it. I know the trigger was very heavy on that pistol. I think that was about a 12-pound trigger. And I just didn't like the idea that you couldn't rack the slide. Oh, talking about racking the slide also. The slide durations here are more than adequate, and actually racking this is not very hard. It's pretty easy. And eventually I'll take this out to the range and fire off some rounds and make a determination. My hope is definitely to use this as a not necessarily an everyday carry, but possibly it has the potential to be either like a backup gun to my main EDC, or possibly just one of those pistols you have, you know, it's like you got to go to a corner store and you just take this. I did purchase a pocket holster for it, and you know, it's pretty small. I mean, it fits well in the pocket. I mean, you know, this would be ideal going out to those little quick trips or what have you. But anyway, MP Bodyguard 380. Stay tuned next for the shooting review of this pistol. Anyway, if you enjoy this video, appreciate a thumbs up, and you'll take care, and God bless.